Welcome, everyone. Today, we're diving into a concept that, while simple to grasp, can be a lifelong journey to master: attachment. Think about it. From the moment we're born, we begin forming attachments. A child to a parent, a student to a teacher, an individual to their home, their country, their identity. Attachment, in its essence, is the emotional bond we create with the world around us. But how often do we pause to examine the nature of these bonds? How often do we consider the subtle ways in which these connections, intended to enrich our lives, can inadvertently become the very source of our unease? We live in a world that constantly reinforces the idea of attachment. Advertisements tell us we'll be happier with the latest gadget. Social media whispers that we'll be more fulfilled if we achieve a certain level of success or gain the approval of our peers. We chase after these external markers, believing they hold the key to lasting contentment. But what happens when the newness of the gadget fades? What happens when we achieve that coveted promotion, only to find ourselves wanting more? What happens when the likes and comments on our posts disappear into the endless scroll? The answer, more often than not, is suffering, and it's a suffering rooted in attachment. Consider this. You've poured your heart and soul into building a business. You've sacrificed time, relationships, and perhaps even your health, all fueled by the dream of success. Then, the market shifts, and your business faces unforeseen challenges. Suddenly, the identity you've so carefully constructed, the success you've so dearly clung to, feels threatened. The result? Anxiety, despair, and a profound sense of loss. Or perhaps, on a more personal level, you've placed your entire emotional well-being in the hands of another person. Their love, their attention, their validation become the sole source of your happiness. But relationships are complex, and people change. When that relationship falters, it can feel as though your world is crumbling. Why do these experiences cause such profound pain? Because we've allowed our sense of self to become inextricably linked to these external things. We've forgotten that at our core, we are whole and complete, independent of possessions, achievements, or the affections of others. This isn't to say that ambition is inherently bad, or that relationships are inherently dangerous. It's about cultivating a mindful awareness of the nature of attachment. Stoic philosophers recognized the dangers of attachment thousands of years ago. They noted that although we may feel a spectrum of emotions, joy, sadness, excitement, disappointment, our significant suffering comes not from the events themselves, but from our interpretations of those events. They suggested a transformative principle. Concentrate on what you can influence and accept what lies beyond your control. What is truly within our control? Our values, our actions, our reactions, and the path of our thoughts. We can't control the weather, the economy, or the choices of other people. Clinging to the illusion that we can only leads to frustration and a constant state of unease. Think about it. How much mental energy do you expend worrying about things that are ultimately beyond your influence? What if you channeled that energy into cultivating inner peace, resilience, and a deeper understanding of yourself? Take a moment to reflect on your own life. What are you overly attached to? What external factors hold undue sway over your happiness? Perhaps it's time to loosen your grip, to cultivate a mindset of acceptance, and to discover the inner freedom that comes from knowing your worth is not defined by what you have or what you achieve. I'll be back in a minute to close out our time together. As we begin to embrace a more detached perspective, we might find ourselves asking, what then is the point of striving? What's the point of caring? The answer is that striving and caring are still essential parts of the human experience, but we can do so with a newfound sense of freedom. We can pursue our goals with passion and dedication without placing our entire sense of self-worth on the outcome. We can love deeply and connect authentically without clinging to the illusion that we can control another person's heart. We can engage with the world, creating, contributing, and making a difference, while recognizing that our value is inherent and not dependent on external validation. This is the essence of mindful detachment. It's about living fully, loving deeply, and striving purposefully, all while holding lightly to the things that are ultimately beyond our grasp. I encourage you to carry this message with you throughout your day. Observe your thoughts, your reactions, and the subtle ways in which attachment might be influencing your experience. If you found this exploration helpful, please share it with others. Subscribe to this podcast for more insights into cultivating a mindful mindset. And remember, our upcoming guided meditation next week will offer practical tools to deepen your understanding and practice. Thank you for joining me on this journey. May you find peace and strength in the wisdom of detachment. I'll see you next week.